School. Good morning. Welcome back. Welcome to the School of Shred. Those of you tuning in for the first time, maybe you've heard about this through the grapevine or something like that. Welcome to the School of Shred. This is the show that is designed to help you shred your old and make better your new. We're brought to you by the Online Health Academy, the world's first online health academy that takes you out of the role of being a client and puts you in the role of being a student. You can learn more about that at theschoolofshred.com. You can find the school on many different platforms. If you want to watch audio and video, you can go to YouTube, search The School of Shred. You can also find us on Facebook, on Instagram, and then we also are on audio only. We have you hooked up on Spotify. If you search The School of Shred, subscribe, as well as iTunes. So go to your iTunes, search The School of Shred, throw the show on your list, and then do a review, please. It helps the show get some traction and grow. So welcome to Monday. It's a holiday week, everybody. What's up? It is Thanksgiving week. I hope everybody's doing well out there. I hope you're all keeping a positive mental attitude on life and looking forward to this week. So I wanted to talk about some metabolic hacks here as we enter Thanksgiving week, because this is stuff that I talk a lot about. Lifestyle. Lifestyle is the most important thing, obviously. And what is a lifestyle? Lifestyle is a system of habits that you do all the time. But there's some fun stuff that we can try out there to try and rev up the metabolism going into maybe a feast with our family, because a healthy person will just indulge with their family because it's a holiday and have fun and enjoy some food. So with that said, there's some metabolic hacks that we can get into and things that you can try this week to help you speed that little metabolism up. So I got 9 or 10 things here that we're going to get into on this episode. For anybody who's watching live, if you have any questions, go ahead and ask. This is a topic I think a lot of you are going to like, because sometimes we don't know exactly how to go into the holidays when we're going to see family, and should we stress about food? Should we not stress about food? This is a reoccurring theme that I've had over 9+ years of training clients, as I get this a lot the week of, and people always want to know my take on it. Like, my clients always want to know my take on it. And I think that it's important to have the freedom and not really think about it. But with that said, if you want to try and maybe cover some bases and have a little insurance policy, that's what we're going to talk about here. So this isn't like a cheat the system and be able to eat as much as you possibly want all the time and binge eat. I'm not condoning any of that type of activity. But these are some cool things that you can use if you're going to have a day or 2 or 3 where you're going to be eating in a big surplus of calories. Maybe you're going to have some of your favorite aunt's pie, and you want to figure out how to maybe rev the system up. So this is episode 115, Metabolic Hacks. Let's dive in. So the first thing on my list here, I like to give you guys lists on this show. Get out that pen and journal. The first thing is high intensity interval training. So a good HIIT session. HIIT cardio is an amazing tool to rev the system up. If it's done too frequently, you might find that it has the potential to really tax the central nervous system, though, and that can alter your recovery. And if we alter recovery, then we become unmotivated. We become basically burnt out, run down, and then it could also hurt our immune system, which in the world right now, you don't want to have a repressed immune system. So too much can be a not good thing, but the right amount can be an amazingly potent tool. Not really any better tool to burn fat, depending on the individual, but this is a great way. And what this does is it does something called EPOC, which is exercise post-oxygen consumption. And so although you might burn more calories walking an hour than maybe a 15-minute super hard HIIT session, in the hours after, as your body makes up this oxygen debt, it's an expensive metabolic process. And so that can burn additional calories for up to 24 hours after you work out. So a good HIIT session, say the day of a holiday where you're going to go see family and maybe, eat a little bit more and you want to try and rev the system up, you can do that day of. You can also do it the day after when you should have an influx of energy. If your system is working properly, you should get hungry, or you should get a lot of energy. Your brain will be sending signals that you need to move because you increase your energy intake, which is a really cool thing that our human bodies do. So anyway, exercise post oxygen consumption and HIIT training is a great one. So what does HIIT training look like? So I'll give you an example of something that I do on my spin bike at home. I'll do just 15 minutes. I'll do a 2-minute warm up, 15 seconds all out, sprinting as hard as I possibly can. As hard as I can for 15 seconds. And then I take a 45-second rest break where it's basically like a light jog. I don't stop pedaling. It's like a light jog, 15 seconds all out, 45-second rest. I do 10 rounds of that. And then I finish with like a 1.5, 2-minute cool down. It's about 15 minutes. This is an extremely potent cardio workout. And just realize the shorter your cardio sessions are, the harder you can go and the harder you must go. And so this is not for the faint of heart, these types of exercises. Okay. So you could do that with sprints as well. You could go to a field and you could run, 25-yard sprints 10 times, walk back, sprint again, walk back, things like that. So that is HIIT training. That is number 1 for metabolic hacks. Number 2 is going to be calisthenics every hour. Something that's also called feeder sets, where you do several sets throughout the day. If you got weights around your house, you can also do this where you do maybe some push-ups, some lunges. I like to do split squats for legs. And I also like to do a lot of push-ups around the house. And you can spread these out throughout the day. So you're basically spiking a fight or flight response when you do some of these exercises. So if you drop down and you knock out 50 to 100 push-ups, you do a few sets of them, that's going to get your system all revved up. And if you do that throughout the day, you're pushing blood into the muscles. It can help with hypertrophy, but also you're spiking your metabolism by way of spiking epinephrine and norepinephrine, which are stress hormones, which it can increase metabolic rate to get you ready to fight or flight. The third thing is drinking more water. So drinking enough water. So the body is about 70% water, or your muscles are 70% water, rather. I'm sorry. Body's close to that, though. 70% water, and so we need to be hydrated. It's very important. And this is a simple one that you can do, which is drink enough water. Usually, if I get a client, depending on, obviously, if they're not taking medications and such, where you need to be worried about water consumption and not just giving people a loose recommendation. If they don't have any other reason than that, then the loose recommendation I give is just a gallon of water a day. Treat yourself like an athlete. If you find that you get more thirsty when you're drinking a gallon a day, you can put a pinch of salt in it, pink salt, something that has a lot of minerals. Pink salt, pure pink salt will have upwards of 90 minerals in it that you can store in your bones, which is great. If you do not get enough minerals, your body will pull from your bones to get those minerals. So you need to find a source, which is a side note, have a good source of getting minerals. That's why I don't partake too much in iodized salt. I will mix it in, but I also do seaweed. We use this stuff at my house. It's like a seaweed, a dry seaweed kind of salt, pepper, like seasoning. Really good. I put it on fish. I put it on all the vegetables, our home cooked vegetables that we have, our homegrown vegetables that we cook. I put it on that a lot. So iodine has a lot of seaweed has a lot of iodine rather. Iodine is very important for thyroid function. Okay. Furthermore, fluoride, which is found in your toothpaste and also in your water supply, competes with iodine to get in the thyroid. And that can cause, it's been said that it can initiate hypothyroidism. So something that we want to look at, but that's purifying water. That's for a different day. So anyway, drinking water, though, is very important. That's number 3. That's a metabolic hack, right? Drinking enough water. And then we have number 4 is going to be post-workout or post-meal walks. Okay, post-meal walks. These have been shown to lower blood sugar levels in the hours after a meal. If you go walk, this is a great thing, especially if with your family this week. Go out there and after you eat, try and encourage your family to go for a little stroll around the block. It doesn't have to be too long. Doesn't have to be too long, but say, hey, let's go for a walk real quick outside. Or you guys can wrestle or whatever. But post-meal walks, if you go for about 30 minutes, can really, really help your blood sugar regulation in the hours after your meal. So this is a great one. This is one that I pretty much use every day if possible. And with big meals, I like to stand for 15 to 20 minutes or walk around my house or walk outside. So this can help a ton. And then number 5 is no PUFAs, no polyunsaturated fats. This is a great metabolic hack. The reason is because polyunsaturated fats, they're highly prone to oxidation. These industrialized oils that have only been around for about 50 years that were created by Crisco. And what we're talking about here is vegetable oil, corn oil, all these oils where they have to go through a process of hydrogenation to come out looking like your vegetable oil. Those guys, it's like consuming inflammation and cellular damage. Okay, so probably the number one thing you need to cut out of your diet. That's stuff that I don't put in my body. I'll put sugar in my body, but I will not put polyunsaturated fats in my body. I would recommend that you do not do that either. It has been shown through mitochondrial probing studies that polyunsaturated fats, specifically canola oil and the omega-3s that they try to sell you are good omega-3s, like it's fish oil, burns at about a 20% efficiency rate for the mitochondria, meaning 80% of your metabolism, the speed, we'll just call that the speed of your metabolism, right? Is the rate at which your mitochondria can produce energy is 80% less efficient with vegetable oils and polyunsaturated fats. With omega-6 versions of polyunsaturated fats, it's been shown that's 50% less effective. Saturated fat, which everybody's demonized, which is from animal products, which are extremely healthy for you, burns at 100% efficiency. The same could be said with olive oil, which is a monounsaturated fat, because oxygen cannot get in and damage these guys. They're prone to oxidation, and they are good for you. So no PUFAs, no polyunsaturated fats. That's number 5. Number 6 is apple cider vinegar with a little bit of water. So this is a post-meal thing I like to do. It kind of goes in the same wheelhouse with the post-meal walks. You can try this out. This is something that I really like, and I've noticed, and some people roll their eyes at me when I say this because where's the science? Where's the science? Well, the science is that when I prick my finger and I test these things with the same food sources, I notice a big difference in my postprandial glucose numbers. That's my science. Not everything needs a randomized controlled trial study. Some things you got to try out, and if they feel good, you do them. Some things, it does help to have some studies. But my religion is not scientific studies either, but I also like the objectivity of some sciences like physics when we're working out. But anyway, I digress. Number 6 is going to be apple cider vinegar with cinnamon. So what you do is you take 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar, you put it in a cup, mix it with about 8 ounces of water, and then do a couple dashes of ground cinnamon. Ground cinnamon has been shown to help with glucose numbers and glucose control. And when you help with glucose control, you can consider that a thermogenic because it's going to help you get energy from the calories you eat. And then vinegar helps you balance pH, the pH balance in your gut, and this can help you digest your food a bit more easily. So that's number 6. Number 7 is cold showers. These guys are great. So if you take cold showers, it's a metabolic hack. Yes. If you go eat a bunch and you get home on Thursday, this Thanksgiving, I don't know if you test your blood glucose or not, but if you go and you take a cold shower, or you go ice cold for 1 minute, really hot for 1 minute, ice cold for 1 minute, really hot for 1 minute. If you do that for 5 rounds and you get out, your blood sugar should be significantly lower. I'm talking like 20 points on the scale lower. This is speaking from experience. This is a great tool. If I eat something that I feel like is going to spike my blood glucose, I've tested this, and I think it's fun to test this stuff. And anyway, so cold showers can hack your metabolism. It also helps with thermogenesis. It's been shown to help burn brown fat, these cold showers. So that's why people are doing ice baths and all that. I think we're not really doing ice baths and cold showers anymore for inflammation. It's more for nervous system response now, which has a lot of good stuff backing it. So cold showers are great. And it can also help detoxify the body by pulling blood into the extremities and then out of the extremities back and forth. You're doing reps of that when you're going cold. You're vasoconstricting the extremities. And then when you go hot, you're vasodilating the extremities. So you're pushing blood back and forth in your system. So that's also got some detox benefits. But that can help hack the metabolism. Number 8 is resistance training. This is the king of all metabolic hacks right here, people. This is the long-term investment account that always goes up. It never crashes. It only crashes if you don't work out. Resistance training and building muscle and turning over that tissue and creating beautiful sculpted muscles is probably the most important thing you could do for your health. Nutrition's obviously really important too. But resistance training is so important. It's so important. It's so good for you. So good for your bones. So good for your cardiovascular system. So good for your gut microbiome. It's so good for your metabolic rate. So that tissue turnover is important. So a good resistance program, 3 to 5 days a week, depending on where you're at with it, depending on where your current level of fitness is, but 3 to 5 days a week of good, hard resistance training that matches where your physicality currently is, and you nudge your dosage up and slowly increase your tolerance to forces over time is an amazing metabolic hack that will have your long-term health flourishing. I've seen it for many, many years with people that started working out when they're 55 or 60, and then they look like they're getting younger year after year now, which is just really cool and really amazing for a young guy like me to see. All right, number 9 is leveraging leptin. Leveraging leptin. So how would you leverage leptin? So what you could do is you could go really low carb going into a day where you're going to eat a lot of carbohydrates, and that can help you spike leptin levels, which will help you release more fat in the days that coming out of a day where maybe you're having a bunch of stuffing and potatoes and things of that sort. So you can leverage leptin that way. Leptin is your friend if it is getting to the brain. If your brain isn't inflamed, then you can actually get the signal from leptin. It actually helps you burn body fat because what it is basically a fat release regulator telling your brain at any one given time how much fat you have. And it directly responds to, a lot of macronutrients, all 3 of them, but it responds favorably more so to carbohydrate consumption. So if you eat a lot of carbohydrates, you can spike leptin. Now, if you're 30, 40 pounds overweight, I would not count on that because you're probably inflamed and not getting the signal. So you might be leptin resistant as well as insulin resistant, but you can definitely leverage leptin. So let's see here. What is it? That's like nine tips here. So that's your metabolic hacks, folks. So these are things that you can do to optimize your metabolic rate, whether that be going into a holiday or just daily. These things are fun to do throughout the holidays. What I like to do specifically, if I'm going to be overeating, I like to do some HIIT training or the calisthenics every hour on the hour kind of stuff like that, where I'm trickling those guys out. And that has been impressively favorable to blood glucose response and controlling holiday weight gain for myself is playing around with this stuff. So try some of this stuff out. All the stuff listed here is going to help you get healthier anyway. So even if you don't plan on over consuming and you're laughing like, oh, wow, some people are trying to binge eat. It's like, well, some people are just going to do what they're going to do. So I want to give them tips, but these things could all be used on the daily if you wanted to as well to get healthier, which is the idea of this show, is to give you a bunch of things that will improve your health and fitness in a holistic manner. And speaking of holistic health and fitness, we're talking about mental and spiritual health on this show. And so when you're with your family and you're not thinking about every macro you're consuming and you're enjoying certain dishes that have been in your family for years and years and you don't have them altered to be healthier, that right there is really important for your mental and spiritual health. And so, I think that you can make that choice. I had a Thanksgiving yesterday where we had all healthy keto stuff, but then, my Thanksgiving that I'm going to get into this week, we're going to be eating probably all that very flavorful, quote unquote, unhealthy stuff that I will say is healthy on one day because it's with family, it's with love, and it's the comfort foods that I think you all deserve every now and again. Okay. It's all about balance, people. So that is episode 115 of Metabolic Hacks. I gave you 9, not 10. God, I want you to stay strong and healthy in body, stay relentless and energized in spirit. Oh, yeah. And stay determined in your pursuits today. Throw me a flex emoji in the comments if you're with me. If you feel that, give me an amen. And I will see you all tomorrow. Ask any questions you have. We will do a Q&A on Friday. Yeah. Have a great day. Until next time, class is dismissed. Love you all out there. Have a good one.